and welcome to Watch for Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker. Joining me today is just the beautiful and glamorous diva himself, Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Well, what a way to say hello, y'all.
Hi, you're wearing some Crappens blue today. It's almost like you're a floating head in our Crappens on Demand.
Really?
Yeah.
It's actually kind of a green, but I guess it does go with the kind of off blue in our background on Crappens on Demand. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
I'm
What
wearing
are you
a WKRP in Cincinnati t-shirt that someone once gave me when we went to Cincinnati for our
cute
tour, which was really fun. Some really interesting stuff to talk about today. We're talking about Real Housewives of Dubai. First of all, I also have a small announcement. Next week, obviously, Salt Lake City comes back. And guess what? If you've been wondering what our recaps have been like for the first 4 seasons of Salt Lake City, guess what? They're all up on our site now. We have doubled the size of our back catalog archives on the website. We now have Salt Lake City up. We have Potomac up. We have Vanderpump Rules up. And Ladies of London is up in case you're really feeling Caroline Stanbury. And I think I put one other one up. I don't remember, but go check it out. There's all sorts of, there's I think 9 shows that are archived and up on the website now. That's at watchforcrappens.com. That's where you can listen to all the back catalogs. You can listen to all our shows organized, all our recaps organized by show and by season. So it'll just make your life easier if you just feel like turning back the clock, or maybe you're watching an old season to get ready for an upcoming season of something. So go check that out. Super fun. Thanks to our friend Paul for organizing that stuff. And thanks to everyone who helped Paul out. I know he got some input for a bunch of you all. So thank you to everyone who's been helping us with this ongoing project. There will be more and more archives up on the site soon enough.
Yes, and speaking of Mormons, we are covering The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. That is currently available everywhere that you get podcasts. Go check that out. And we'll see you next week, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Let's get to The Real Housewives of Dubai Reunion Part 1, and possibly Part 1 of the last reunion of all time for this show. We don't really know.
Oh my goodness. That's wild. It's wild, but I don't know. Things cost money. So, I was trying to figure out, is this going to be a 2-part reunion or a 3-part reunion? It doesn't feel like they have enough for 3 parts, but the way they were stretching out this first part of the show made me feel like they were trying to get across the finish line for 3 episodes worth of content. What did you think?
I couldn't tell. It was really hard to tell. It was a fun reunion, though. I've just learned not to ask. At this point, I'm just going with the flow, guys. I'm just like chill. You know me, just chill, Ronnie.
Just take what comes to you from Bravo.
Yeah. At this point, I'm just taking what I can get, and that's what Bravo did. They kind of starved us for a bit, and now we're just like, we'll take it. Yep. I don't even know why we're doing a podcast complaining about anything, honestly, because you know what my podcast should be called? Watch What Is Grateful.
Oh.
Watch what clappens, okay? I'm clapping for everything. I'm just grateful to be here, okay?
Yes. So we open up the reunion with people arriving in New York and getting into glam. And Chanel's wearing a black dress and a veil covering her face. And she's like, I'm here for the funeral. I'm not here to play with no bitch. So she's ready to get to business.
I'm kind of sick of her outfits. I'm sick of her being like, I have a covered face. That's how I'm coming. Like I'm wacky. I'm crazy. I need more. I said it. I just said I'm really grateful. I'm like, you know what?
I know.
I'm sick of you.
I'll take whatever they'll give me. Wait, she's wearing a veil. Fuck that bitch.
I just need more. Like, I think your costumes are great and funny and everything, but I don't know. It's like drag queens like have to do more. You know what I mean? Like lip sync.
So
I need more from you. At this point, there, I said it. Okay, so Lisa's like, I'm so tired. I'm so jet lagged. My flight wasn't good at all. Well, that's kind of your attitude this whole season, frankly. You have been jet lagged and tired and moody this entire season. So I think that it's only fitting that that's your reunion. It's like, how are you feeling for the reunion? Jet lagged.
Yeah, and then we go to a producer goes up to Stanbury and goes, how are you feeling, Caroline? Pumped.
Absolutely pumped.
Sergio is an entire world away, another hemisphere, time zones so far away. I could not be happier. Can't you tell?
I feel like Rocky in that film. I'm standing at the bottom of stairs looking and imagining running up them and just thinking, no, I'm not going to do that.
So Stanbury goes up to Ayan and she's like, I was just thinking, this is the first season that I've got friends. Ha 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 ha. Is this what friends do with each other?
If I'm going to get angry and start pointing at people, I'm going to point with this. I've got a gigantic $1 million finger on my hand. Thank you, Michael. I mean, Michael doesn't give me anything. It's totally fine. It's not borrowed at all.
And then we are starting to see we're seeing them in glam, but it's also interspersed with like little clips of what's to come on the reunion. Then we go to Ayan. I'm gonna sort of skip the stuff that we see in the future because we're gonna get to it. But Ayan,
we're gonna see it in the future.
We see it in the future.
It's why I don't pay psychics. I'm like, you're telling me something I'm gonna see for free anyway. What the fuck would I pay you?
So Ayan's in glam, and she's like, guys, I've been dreaming about this day for months. And because she is excited to see Lisa and confront her because their friendship is falling apart.
Yeah. So then we have a lot of flashes of what's gonna come, and then we go to the stage, and Andy, slunched over in his chair, scrolling through Grindr or whatever as he normally is, and then Ayan walks in very glamorously, and he's just kind of like, "Wow, you're so understated." She's like, "I wanted to walk in fashionably late, but I'm first. I'm first, Andy." He's like, "Do not care. Did you know that there's a homosexual 2 feet away from me? Where are you?"
We are not rolling, so I don't have to pretend like I'm friends with you just yet, although I will get cozy under your dress.
And then he was like using her dress as a blanket and stuff. That was cute.
And then Stanbury comes next, and she goes, "Who knew that we would be on the same side together? But it was pretty easy. It was either sit on her side or have them fly Sergio out from Dubai." And I said, "Put me next to Ayan. I'll do anything."
Where are we? Are we in Dubai? Are we in New York? This is insane. This looks exactly like Dubai. Rolf, is this Dubai or literally, where are we? Did I just get on a plane to fly 14 hours to Dubai? Has Dubai grown that much? I mean, I would know. I'm married to a real estate he's built all of Dubai by himself. This is literally insane.
And then Lisa comes on next. She looks like she's wearing like a Jeff Koons sculpture. And she comes on. And
girl, she looks like AI liquid metal. Like in Zelda, how they make water look so real. Or at least it used to look real. And now it just looks like that metal kind of. That's what this woman is beyond stunning. Every time she comes on, I'm just like, wow, what is life like that? Can you ever be happy? Can you ever be truly that happy being that beautiful? Just don't see how it works.
It is actually a pretty stunning cast. I was like looking at them all sitting around on the sofas. I was like, they are like all knockouts. It's kind of wild. So
and I hate even pointing that out. I'm usually not like, oh my God, she's so pretty, because it's like, of course, like they're on TV, they're hired to be pretty. You know what I mean? And it just seems like, I don't know. It's like, she's me, but she's pretty. Like, well, what about all the ugly people?
Yeah.
Like, it's not fair to give someone extra points for being pretty. And it's not like extra points. It's just like, I just can't stop staring at her. It's not like a boner. I'm not like Real Housewives of Dubai bisexual, but there's just something, I can't stop looking at her. She's just so pretty. She's so shiny today, like her dress, her hair. I just want to watch Mario run all over her and like jump from platform to platform. You were stunning. You were stunning computer work.
Yeah. I mean, does her dress sort of look like molten plastic? Yes. But it works for her. Because she is gorgeous and, it looks great. So
she's like a plastic doll or a rubber doll. What are dolls made out of? Who cares? Let's think about it another day.
Yeah. So
and you're not supposed to use that anymore because it kills birds or something.
Mylar?
Because a lot of people get in trouble for using Mylar balloons because they I don't know. Do birds see the reflection and then crash into the sun? I don't know. They do something terrible to birds. And so you're not supposed to use them. And I just like that Lisa's kind of embracing her villain edit. I'm wearing a Mylar balloon today.
maybe I guess this if you're not supposed to use Mylar anymore, I mean that's really gonna be a big hit to the prom industry. I mean, how are you supposed to decorate those gym walls?
Well, you know who else still uses them all the time? People who do gender reveals. But we already hate
they
them.
are harmed
You
to
know
so
what I
much
mean?
more than birds.
We literally already hate them.
By the way, I haven't watched all of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, but I just have to imagine that by the end of the season, we will have seen some sort of gender reveal. Like that's just if there's ever a group of people who are probably just like salivating for a gender reveal, it's gonna be those
Oh
girls.
my God. Totally. And I hope it's for that girl's husband so we can find out if he's been on Tinder or Grindr. The rumors are a rumoring.
It's just an app reveal.
Yeah. the gender our husband has been cheating on us with reveal. Also, you know, it was really weird watching this because sorry, we're not supposed to speculate, but literally I can't help it. Like that whole cast looks like they're from Sean Cody. Or like active duty. But what was I going to say? It was I feel so bad for this show because it has been such a good year for this show. And I think a lot of people didn't give it a chance this season because the first season kind of blew. And then they just keep getting fucked over again and again. This time they got fucked over in the way of airing the same night as the presidential debate. Yeah. And this was not just any presidential debate. This was Mama Kamala versus Trump. And it was fucking funny. Even I watched it.
It was
because
the funniest debate of all time.
It was so good. It was like literally the best comedy on television. And so I'm sorry if a little bit of that seeps in today. I know people don't love us talking about politics, but guess what? It's that kind of a world and it's happening right now in front of our face. But it's hard to get it out of my head as I watch this. So I just apologize in advance. But God, you know, whoever produced that, great job last night.
Well, there's
Great
a fine line
job.
between sometimes a Real Housewives reunion and a presidential debate. And when you have one candidate, you know, saying that there are people eating cats and dogs in Ohio, you know, that does sort of sound like something that someone on the Real Housewives would say. Like, I can imagine Talene being like,
eating cats and this is eating cats and how can you support her? Like, why would you think, you know, you come after Louis, but you're eating like Margaret eats cats and dogs, you know, in Springfield, so, you know.
It's one of those things where, I mean, I turned it on. I was talking to my cousin Jenna and we were talking, you know, about whatever. And she goes, are you going to watch this debate? I was like, it's on. And I flipped it on and I turned it on right at the part where he goes,
they're eating cats. They're eating cats.
And I was like, I got to go. This is the most amazing shit.
one of many hilarious moments.
Kamala just like cracking up like, oh, can you believe that? I was dying. Okay, so back to the reunion.
Welcome to the Real Housewives of Dubai Season 2 reunion. I'm Andy Cohen. Hold on, everybody. Wait for the parade of highs. Hi, Celine. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Ross. Hold on, Andy. I'm on the phone with Raf. Hey, Raf. Yeah, Andy's saying hi. Say hi to Andy. Okay, Andy, say hi to Raf. Say hi to Raf.
Could you please have Ruff get off the phone during your reading? How dare you? I'm telling everyone here not to support Andy Cohen. He just told my husband to get off the phone. And I would just like to say this to Andy Cohen. No one is going to eat at your restaurant ever again.
All right, I'm really not too concerned. Okay, well, the luxurious ladies of Dubai took us on a journey from Beyonce to bonsai trees. I don't remember the bonsai trees, but sure, from Beyonce to bonsai trees to Bali to boobies to Ferrari to Locust. They played the game called Blocus. The Blob. They went and saw a movie called The Blob. And then back again. What other B words are there?
This cast is taking us from empty set to empty set. Is there anybody living in Dubai? Probably not. We've seen empty Chili's. We've seen empty. Literally every restaurant they've ever been to has been empty. Let's go see the place where the Beyonce concert was. Fittingly, it's empty. Well,
we have transformed our set into the stunning Palm Jumeirah, and in an effort to make this feel more like Dubai, we've asked our entire staff to film this remotely. Everyone's at home, and those are robots operating the cameras. We're just here in an empty space.
I like that he's like, so wait, how do I say it? So la blah. No, Andy.
Oh yeah. Hala la 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 la. And Sarah's just like, no, Andy.
No. So this is how you say it. And she tells him very clearly. He's like, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. No, Andy. That's Mary Poppins.
All right. Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué horas?
No, Andy is not.
I'm a little teapot, short and stout. No, you're just.
God.
No, no, Andy. That's something else completely different.
So then he's like,
Wow, this is where you guys went to the Beyonce concert. Ayan, are you in VVIP tonight? That was a joke from the show, everybody. VVIP.
Honey,
So
I'm
good.
always in
So
VVIP. Well, I would like to make a bold declaration and say it seems like you all had great seats for Beyonce. And they're like, no,
no.
my seats were better.
I also love that they had another set with a body of water in the center of the stage.
I know. It was shimmering in the background the entire time.
So nobody could get up and like cross. They're like trying to stop walk-offs and stuff like that. Just make it so uncomfortable to get up and cross the stage.
Well, hi, Stanbury. I need to say, you look outstanding. Full facelift for half. And what about the boobs? Tell me about the boobs. Did Barari approve them?
So, which Pet Boys did you go to, and how many oil changes did they give your boobs? Let's talk about that, am I right, guys?
And she's like, actually, Andy, I didn't get a full facelift because they didn't actually lift my eyebrows, but it's called a full facelift, so I don't really understand it.
It's like the Sergio of medical procedures. It happened. Don't know if I really understand it, but it's part of my life now.
Sort of like Sergio being considered a full man, even though he does nothing emotionally or physically to prove it. Does that make any sense?
So Ayan's like, yes, she looks younger than me now. I am younger than you, bitch.
Well, that's debatable. Hey, Talene, welcome to your first reunion. She's like, I am literally so happy to be here, Andy. I would like to thank Hey, guys, I have a question. Are we in Dubai or are we in New York? I'm serious right now.
Well, when you joined the show, I'm sure you wouldn't have imagined that you'd be sitting anywhere but next to Brooks. I know, Andy. That's a lot to unpack, for sure. Okay, quiet with my lines.
That's my line.
She's fired.
You know what, Andy? Hopefully by the end of this, we can do some shot skis.
All right, you're really pushing it now.
Hey, Andy, can I ask you, how are your new boobs?
Okay, you know what? That's it. Get off the stage.
Andy, the reason why I'm not sitting next to Brooks is that she's the jackhole of the week. All right, get her out of here.
So Andy's like,
Hi, Sarah. Hey, Sarah, I do on my first words in Arab, Spanish, Chinese a bit.
and she's like, Andy, it was fine.
Well, what's your prayer for this group today?
And he's like, my prayer is to, just stop the nonsense and negativity because we really need to shine light. We need to shine light on truth. TM, please sign up for my newest seminar, Shining the Light on Truth, hosted by me and my pretend boyfriend that I lied about all season, Hakeem. Thank you.
We need to shine the light on truth, just how I told Mackie that invaders will shine the light on his face before they abduct him. God, he's so traumatized. I don't know why.
Okay, Brooks. Good to see you, Brooks. She's like, hi, Andy. Good to see you too, Andy. Really good to see you.
This is another one. I mean, what a stunner.
Yeah.
How does Brooks look so? I mean, look, she always looks good, but how does she look 10? I know. Have they started just selling filters that you're allowed to wear in public now? Like, what the fuck is happening on this show?
I feel like she gave herself some sort of like chin Botox or like lower lip, like something like a soul patch Botox. Because when she was talking the whole time, she was like barely moving her lower lip. She's like, it was like she had to like lift her head up and just like let gravity drop her jaw because it seemed like she was having trouble just getting her lips open. She's like, I'm doing very I'm like, what happened to her lips? Her lip mobility, I should say.
Hey, did you fly private today? It's like, I flew Emirates. It's pretty much almost the equivalent of flying private, Andy, but it's not private exactly, but it basically is private. I'm very, very rich, Andy.
With private, with Emirates, at least all the toilets are exactly where they're supposed to be. They're not down in the next level below. All right, at least.
You know what? I was going to bring Zoltan, but you know what I found? That if there's a cracked toilet on a plane, your asshole could actually get sucked out of the plane and thrown into the sky. So I just left Zoltan at home. Better safe than sorry, Andy. We've had our problems, but he does still pay for the glass house. I mean, I pay for the glass house myself. Never mind. I forgot what we were talking about.
Unfortunately, that's actually an urban legend about the cracked toilet and sucking you out to the sky, because trust me, I've definitely tried it with Sergio. I said, Sergio, sit on this toilet, and then took a sledgehammer to it, and I said, well, that's the end of him, and then 5 minutes later he came out. It was terrifying.
Unfortunately, getting a fork stuck in a toaster doesn't really work either. I guess they've made safety regulations on that one. God, we'll just have to keep trying. Dropped my ear down there and handed him a fork and said, please get my ear. If you get my earring, I'll have a baby. No visit.
Unfortunately, Sergio doesn't quite understand how to use a fork because he learned everything he knows from The Little Mermaid, so a lot of it winds up in his hair.
He doesn't even understand you need a good fork to have a baby in the first place, Andy. So that's where we're at.
He thinks a toaster is where you place postcards, so he has lots of problems.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
Well, Lisa and Ayan, we're going to get into this more later, but, coming off of your explosive fight on the finale, am I right? Come on.
Oh, wait. First, he's like, hey, Lisa. And she's like, hi, Andy. He's like, oh, my God.
Are you wearing Alexander McQueen or Alexander Sheen?
And she's like, oh, God. And he's like, your BravoCon read was epic, Lisa. Epic. What a read. And then we get a clip of her epic BravoCon read, which is, he said, who has the worst fashion? And she said, Sheree. It's almost like you went from she by Sheree, instead you went she by Sheen. And everyone's like, oh my God, epic. That was not a great read, I'm sorry. And it was also, I think, a read directly from the Housewives show already. Like, they already did that on the Housewives in Atlanta. And also, it needs 2-syllable. If it's going to be she by Sheree, it needs to be like she by Shasheen or something. You know what I mean?
Well,
I don't know. I didn't
she kind of
approve
stumbled it out. And I say this as someone who often stumbles his punchlines out. But, she sort of stumbled it out. I think it got a big response because everyone was so surprised they came from Lisa Milan. Everyone's like, wait, we don't even know who this person is on the edge of this panel, and she just read Sheree out of nowhere. So I think people,
yeah, and then also coming for Sheree was kind of an odd choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just felt like, don't come for Sheree. This is her
fired
19th time.
She's been fired 3 times from Bravo.
Like, leave Sheree alone. You know what I mean?
Yes.
She's had a rough couple of years. Like, just let her do her thing.
So Andy goes, you Dubai women do not play around when it comes to reading people. And Ayan goes, no, we live in Dubai. Like, we're too wealthy to play games. So
women have only been allowed to read here for a few years, so we're really just giving it our all at this point.
Okay, that was low, Ronnie. That was low. Well, Lisa and I, we're going to get into this more later, but we're coming off of your explosive fight. Whoa. Do I have any hair left? It was singed. What an explosive fight.
It wasn't that explosive, okay? It was a fight, but it was not. I would actually never say it was an explosive fight because we've seen explosive fights. We watched them. We just finished watching New Jersey, for crying out loud. This was like maybe explosive for Dubai, but it was literally like, do you not think I'm a good friend? You're not a good friend. And that was the end of the season.
What was the word they were fighting over? It'll come up. I'm sure it'll be like
the word that they were fighting over. Barari. No.
Ferrari.
Sergio
bragging.
on the phone.
Bragging.
Ferrari. There was a
You said that she said that I was bragging. I never said she was bragging. You said bragging. I never said bragging. You said bragging.
Explosive.
That was explosive.
Hashtag explosive.
Hashtag bragging about how explosive that finale was. It must be still raw after being burned from that explosion because that was explosive.
Wasn't this filmed like 2 years ago? I don't think it's that raw. So Lisa's like, it was definitely so raw, Andy, to watch it. And he's like, well, are things better now than when we rapped? And Ayan's like, no, and it's like sad. It's so sad. And Lisa goes, yeah, it's like so sad.
Wow, God, I feel terrible that our TV show ripped apart this friendship. How long were you two as tight as you were? And Lisa's like, well, I was pregnant with Sebastian when we first met, and Sebastian's 8 now. And the saddest thing for me is missing the kids. I really love them so much. I miss picking them up at school. I miss going on vacations with them. I miss watching them try to take care of a goat before the goat run away and die.
That poor goat.
Miss goat.
A Miss Goat.
Never forget.
And have the husbands stayed friends? No, they have not stayed friends. And Ayan's like, they keep in touch. And Lisa's like, no, not really. She's like, but they still like each other? No. But they still maybe got some? No. Okay, I think your husband might be lying to you. Your husband might be in a club when he's supposed to be babysitting the kids, except this time he's with Chris. Just saying.
Well, that's a bummer. I know you're feeling especially raw because you just watched the finale last night. I'm really trying to push the raw thing. Who here feels raw? Okay. All right, Celine, how raw would you feel if this happened to you while you were being rejected from a Hillstone restaurant? So raw, Andy. You don't even know how raw. I would actually start calling Rafi Rafi. Rafi, you are so raw right now also, right? You're raw too because I'm raw. I'm so raw, Andy.
The only rawer person than me is Marissa, whose asshole has been chewed over 27 times after she refused to seat us at the Hillstone.
Do you actually care about Marissa? She was the least popular person on our entire cast. No, not Marissa Hermer from Ladies of London. I'm talking about the bitch hostess in Kirby Hillstone. Bitch.
Good, because that lady threw a hot dog party.
I'm still traumatized, and I had to pretend I enjoyed Juliet during the entire time. Could you imagine how American?
I started to understand Romeo's point of view just to get away from her. You know what I'm saying? Honestly.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou not destroying Juliet right now? Get her out of my face.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou? Take me with you, Romeo. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, Juliet, God. Let's be quiet. There was a time before it was easier to use a knife than earplugs. They weren't invented then. You know what I mean?
I came to realize that the reason why they're called Juliet balconies is because they're the best way to shove her off of a building.
So then Andy's like,
Well, can we set an intention to leave in a better place than we are right now?
and Lisa's like, what, Andy? A better place than accusing somebody of using the word bragging? I don't know, Andy. Think about it.
I'd like to set an agenda that I could have lunch somewhere where I'm not kicked out. Raw.
Okay. Well, we've got a lot to discuss, so let's get right into it.
Our chests are going to be destroyed by the end of this between Andy and Talene.
Okay, between much like the pineapple that Ayan gifted Stanbury this season. Wait, that happened? God, this show sounds hilarious. What channel's it on? Focus, Andy. Okay. All right. Two former frenemies went from prickly to sweet. Wait a minute, is that because pineapples are prickly and sweet? Who wrote this? You guys did great.
Remind me where the bonsai tree comes into this? Anyway, while they hit a major speed bump in Bali, it didn't take long for these two queens to take a big swing back in the right direction. They were on a swing. I'm getting it now. Okay, it's a lot to unpack and quiet. Stop saying that.
He always has one or two, like,
Is our swimming pools wet or is this friendship drowned?
let's get, like, he's always got one thing like that, but like they're starting to add 10 things into one paragraph. It's starting to sound like he's reading a children's story in haiku.
It is full on ChatGPT here. This is, if there's ever been a case against AI, it's Andy's monologues, his setups in all the reunion. Because you cannot tell me a human wrote this. This was a bot. Okay. Like, is there a prompt for ChatGPT? Give us...
Oh, God.
I don't know what the prompt would be. If I could come up with the prompt, I would feed it into it right now, but I can't even come up with a prompt, so I'm not going to. How do you come up with a prompt? Like, Set
I
up
think you would say, yes.
in the
Have
voice of
Andy set up a
Cohen.
clip package leading to the friendship breakdown of Lisa Milan and Ayan, Chanel Ayan during it's
In
too
the
much.
voice of Andy
This is
Cohen.
why humans are too stupid to even work
I know.
AI.
I need AI to figure out a prompt to give to AI.
Yeah, I'm too stupid. I need I definitely need AI to help me with AI. Okay, so then we see, a clip package, and it's basically about Brooks calling Lisa out for being jealous. You know, that whole fight. So then Andy's like,
Ayan. Grand from Rapids says Chanel and Caroline are the iconic duo I never knew I needed. Chanel, what made you want to be friends with her after not being able to stand her last season?
And Ayan's like, well, when we left here last year, we were stuck on a plane for 16 hours, like stuck. Not like we couldn't go anywhere. It was like waking up next to Sergio and he was horny and you're stuck there in that bed and you're too tired to go up and get some coffee, but too annoyed to stay there with his tuna breath. And that's what he smells like in the AM.
listen, Andy, it's basically like after being married to Sergio for 1 year, you look over and you realize you're stuck. You're just too old to run. Do you understand what I mean?
You realize that if you actually try to get away from Sergio, go into the kitchen, you might encounter some quote-unquote children that you apparently had 13 or 14 years ago.
There's literally not a room I can go into, Andy.
I'm starting to understand the whole boarding school thing now.
So basically, they're like, well, we got stuck on a plane, so we actually talked because there was no one to interrupt us. And
You don't
she's
understand when you're stuck for 16 hours watching Coco on repeat. Eventually, you share a cry and realize that you're more bonded than you ever thought you would be.
yeah. So,
Hey, Ayan and Stanbury. Hamburger from Helper says, you two seem so different, but you look like you have so much fun together. I mean, what do you have in common? And what do you like about each other? Let me take a guess here. Is it that you both have boobs? You both have boobs. Tell me about your boobs. Let's talk about it. Do you guys compliment each other's boobs? You should. You both got great boobs. Who's got new boobs? Anybody?
It's a lot to unpack there, Andy. So, like, she's funny. Like, she's really, really funny. She makes me laugh. And you know what I mean? Like, and I like her straightforwardness, and she doesn't play with bullshit. She tells me how she feels. And here's what I like about Ayan. She's not Sergio.
listen, Andy, it's the same reason I offered my embryo to the mailman. He's not Sergio. Right?
Not American and not Sergio. You know, if you get past those two hurdles, you're good in my book.
And they're like, oh my God, I love her. She's so funny. She's so real. She's so fun. And Stanbury is like, yeah, and we have kids and we're both going to college. And then, you know, we I know it sounds crazy because, you know, it looks like it to be completely different, you know, dresses like a clown, dresses like a class act, but at the same time, we both put on clothes. You know what I mean? And look, Ayan went to her own form of boarding school, and she didn't live at home. I mean, her boarding school was a lot more depressing than mine was. You know, mine had air conditioning and a cafeteria, but still.
You know, perhaps my boarding school, yes, it was perhaps more privileged. Perhaps I was immediately connected with future captains of industry, but, you know, we both went through very, very deep traumas, perhaps hers more than mine. But I'm going to say that me having to have 3 square meals a day was very traumatic. So I think mine's pretty much up there with hers.
And so then she's like, you know, I understand all the things that irritated me to death about her. You know, I understand where it comes from. She's like, I understand why she's annoying now, Andy, which really helps. And he's like,
So, you told me after last year that you had a drink with Ayan, but you didn't tell the other women. Why not? Secretive.
and she's like, well, I just felt that I wanted to see if there was any route to a better friendship without anyone's opinion as to who she really was. You know what I mean? I don't want to say any names, but she was a whore, and her business steals designs from Amazon.
Also, Andy, let's be honest, I thought we were one season wonder, so why would I ever talk to any of these women again after the last reunion? So, and he's like, well, so did Ayan tell you girls about the drink when it happened, Lisa? And Lisa's like, no, but Ayan used to tell me all the time, like, hey, she's calling, we're talking, and I was always fine with it, no problems. All right, well, Talene, Cindy from the Brady Bunch, called and said, and called out, says Brooks and Lisa called out each other for being jealous of Ayan and Stanbury's relationship. Who do you think is more bothered by this friendship and why?
You know what, Andy? I think that Lisa is the most bothered. And also, I think that Brooks enjoys that because Brooks loves seeing the demise of that friendship. And I think Brooks was like a real cheerleader about it. She was a cheerleader. I mean, are we on a football field or are we in New York City? Am I right? Like, give her some pom-poms.
This is not the pom whatever it's called. This is actually the pom-pom whatever it's called. You see what I did there? So Andy's like, well, Brooks, what do you think about this friendship? And she's like, I don't care about it. I'm like, can we show a clip package of her doing her thing on the edge of a chair? It's over and they're sucking. Oh my God, Lisa's so jealous. Oh my God.
Pulling the mic down. Did you do that where she like pulls the mic down? She's like,
Hello, the fat tip is over. The fat tip is over.
Oh, she loves watching chaos. She just loves chaos.
and she's like,
I don't even care about it, Andy. And
Talene's like, really? Are you sure about that? I mean, really, seriously? Is this Jersey? Are we on the shore? I mean, are you sure about that, Andy? Sorry, that was a stretch, Andy. Blame it on Marissa. Fucking bitch. I'm never coming to your restaurant again.
Yeah, I think he's talking to me, not to you. All right, well, were you happy that it appeared to be coming between Ayan and Lisa's friendship? Well, listen, I actually got a little bit of comic relief, but when I realized it affected her emotionally, it bothered me too, and I tried to bring them back together by making sure they stayed apart and just laughing in their faces.
And Lisa's like, I had no issue with them being friends, Andy. Never any kind of issue at all, Andy. Which is also a lie, you know.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay, well, but you did call them desperate on Watch What Happens Live.
And so we cut back and she's like, yeah, but I don't know that I would call them the dynamic duo. I think that I would probably call them the desperate duo.
By Shein. So then Lisa's like, well, while they were getting to know each other, they would go out and they would have things. Ayan would message me complaining like, oh, I'm not happy. And so I never felt the need. I never felt like it was a threat because she just hated Stanbury so much. And Ayan's like, so when me and Stanbury started hanging out, yes, I did say that to you. And it's going to take me some time to get to know her. And Lisa's like, but the messages were more like, I feel so uncomfortable.
And, this is 2024, and the word uncomfortable is like the worst thing you could ever be. If you make somebody uncomfortable, you've basically just run over them with a car and then driven off.
Yeah.
You cannot make people uncomfortable. So she's like, yeah, the message was saying Caroline made her feel uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, uncomfortable. I never said uncomfortable. Show it. Please show it. And she's like, I will. Here, Andy, here's my phone where it says specifically uncomfortable. And she's like, I never said uncomfortable. Please show me saying uncomfortable. I cannot believe you accused me of saying uncomfortable.
All right.
Andy, they're eating cats.
Wait a minute, what?
They're coming here, they're eating cats, they're eating the dogs of the people that live here.
I don't even know what you're talking about. What are you doing?
I'm sorry, I'm reading from the notes of the debate. Sorry. Please show me.
Andy,
please show me on your phone.
They're doing transgender experiments on illegal aliens in prison. So Andy's like,
trying to make all of our prisoners transgender in prison.
All right. Okay, let me read this text message. It says, Muscle Bottom, 35 meters away. Whoops, wrong phone. Okay.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Okay, we are trying to find something in common, but I don't know what. Like, she acted like I grew up in a village and she grew up in a mansion, and I was shocked. Well, you both already just kind of... I don't really get what this is really supposed to say, Lisa.
Yeah, because Andy's like, yeah, but they just said that publicly. It's not a big secret that it took them a minute. And Anne's like, yeah. And now you're trying to use it against me. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And Lisa's like, I'm using it against you. You're a professional victim. Look at you. And she goes, oh, Lisa. She's like, professional victim? No, you can't. And just Chanel. Like, Chanel, don't bow to it. Don't bow to it.
Here's a photo of Sergio. Do you want to punch it instead? Use your emotions productively. So Ayan's like, that is probably the worst word you could use to me. And Lisa goes, no, I'm not the villain playing the victim. She goes, no, you're calling me a victim, and you know that's the worst word you could use on me. And Andy's like, oh no, okay, let's move on.
Here we go. It's like, no, you're calling me a victim. You cannot say that. I can't, like, I know it's so mean to make fun of people crying and like how they're crying. And I actually really like Ayan, but I can't. It's like every time I hear it, I just hear like an old man down a well, like, ah, anybody out there? Ah, please put down a rope. I fell. Ah.
All right. Okay, Yoplay from Yogurt says, I love your relationship with Taj, and I love seeing him as the face of Ayan Beauty. Is he still pursuing modeling? Has he worked for any other cool brands? And would he ever be interested in like a salt and pepper daddy who's a pretty successful media mogul these days?
So he is working a lot. He's hot. So he's a model. And now Andy's like, well, Ayan, Ginger Bush says. They're like, oh my God, Ginger Bush. That's disgusting.
They're like, Ginger Bush. You know, there's probably someone named Ginger Bush who's like related. It's like, my cousin's Jenna Bush. It's like, whatever, fucking Ginger Bush.
I know, and everybody's like, what the hell, Andy? But I wouldn't be surprised if Andy was like,
double penetration is my life, wants to know.
Ariane's age came out when she dances. Mama's about 53. I see you. In Bali, it was revealed your age is between 45 and 50. So what age do you think you actually are? And how old do you think Ginger Bush is?
She's like, I'm over 50, Andy, because my bones are weak. So then they all, he sends it around and everyone's like, oh my God, she looks great. She's like 38. Mm-hmm. And then Stanbury goes, I'm just grateful that she's older because there's so much ageism in this group, And Lisa's like, because you guys don't act your age. Oh my God, you're really killing it today.
No, it's more like ageism as in you guys are actually too nice to people that are their own age. Why are we not all piling on Sergio? He's so much younger than us. Kick him while he's down.
So then Andy's like, so what's going on with you, Stanbury? How old are you? And she's like, I'm 48. And he goes, well, that's pretty young to do the full Monty, no? I guess meaning her facelift. Mm-hmm. Because, to me, that means the movie from the early 2000s, just men stripping. Yeah. So Stanbury is like, I've been doing filler and Botox since I was 26. And after a while, you begin to look a bit odd, because you have to melt it. Because you're basically putting filler on top of filler on top of filler on top of filler. And before you know it, you wake up and it's actually talking to you in bed, begging you for a baby. You know what I mean?
Well, how do you ladies think Stanbury looks? And they're like, I think she looks really fresh. And he's like, okay, what about you, Lisa? She goes, Lisa goes, she looks okay. Okay, she looks okay.
And Sarah's like, babe, I love it. You know what? Keep doing whatever you do. Which, of course, Sarah's going to say that. She's a whole other person.
I know.
So then Andy's like,
so we saw most of the ladies cheering you on at Ayan Beauty, but you know what? You seemed pretty upset when Brooks on social media was crediting your partner, Tony.
You know where she was also crediting her? The show. But I guess Chanel was more upset about it on social media. So she's like, yeah. And then we see the scene of Brooks being like,
I would like to congratulate my friend Tony for her wonderful event because Tony is so talented. So Ayan Beauty by Tony, which is basically Tony Beauty by Tony. And I just want to say, you know what? Who really is responsible for this? Tony of Tony Beauty. So congratulations to Tony Beauty, Tony Beauty. Okay, I just wanted to get that across that I'm not at all talking about my friend Tony or being shady at all. Because then she's like, well, I didn't even mean anything. I don't know why anybody's mad at me.
I don't think it was rude for me to say congratulations. I like Tony Malt. Malt, one of my favorite flavorings. So I'm surprised no one took this opportunity to say, Brooks, you had a meltdown about like basically your business being overlooked later on at Lisa Milan's spa event because you understand how important it is and how hard it is to start your own business and to bring light to your own business. So how could you be shading someone else who's having their own business? I thought that was
That's true.
like a pretty obvious like that's an easy one to go after, but she got off the hook on that one. I'm sure.
Well, here's the thing. The ratings of this show are very low. I mean, there's like 5 of us watching this, and one of those 5 is not Andy. So I don't think anybody produced this show actually watched it. So that was kind of one of those questions they missed, I think.
So Taleen's like, you discredited Ayan. You said it was Tony's event, much like Marissa at Hillstone of Kirby Dallas discredited Roth, who had to have a very important phone call about his fantasy football team.
And Brooke's like,
I'm talking, excuse me, I'm talking right now. I'm talking. Are you still talking? You're not still talking? Well, guess what? I'm talking now. If she's she's not talking anymore, well, guess what? Someone tell her I'm talking. Someone tell her. Okay, I'm going to talk now. Are you talking? Okay, I'm going to talk. Okay, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to move on. All right. Concepts from Other Plan says, Ayan, it was nice to hear you open up about your FGM experience. Has there been any more backlash from your community? And so, obviously,
basically, this leads to a very serious moment. So I'm not going to make fun of any of this.
The FGM thing and full on Andy was, no, FGM. But this is obviously a very serious topic, and so Ayan talks more about this and and how tough it was, and being public about it,
basically coming out about it, and like all that, that leaves you vulnerable to what everybody's saying online and being, you gross, you're circumcised. What part did they cut? Just people being assholes online. And so now that Lisa is calling her a victim, she should know how hurtful that, and she starts crying. Now, listen, I know I give Lisa a lot of shit right now because she's just. I'm jet lagged, but I don't think this is really fair to like lump Lisa in with this. I mean, Lisa is calling you a victim, and I do think that Lisa is purposely doing that, is like purposely using that word to kind of trigger her. But I don't know, lumping her in with this whole like mutilation storyline seems to be a bit much. But then I feel like Lisa's kind of doing it to herself by purposely triggering Ayan by using the word victim. What do you think? I don't know. Now that I've talked it out loud, I don't know how I feel anymore. I've changed my mind.
Well, I think Lisa formerly being such a close friend with Ayan should probably know that victim is a trigger word for Ayan. She got into a whole fight with Sarah about it between seasons, and so she just never once even hear the word victim, even if it's in a different context. So Lisa should know that. So it seems like Lisa probably said that on purpose, but I don't know. I think Lisa was being sincere when believe it or not, I do think she was being sincere when she meant like I was using victim in the other way. But it's still it's a tricky one.
Because she's like, Ayan, in our situation, you are acting like a victim. And she's like, oh, good, how dare you? And I don't know. It seems like a petty thing to even be worrying about, but it seems like Lisa's trying to trigger her. But then at the same time, I don't know. It's the word victim, and it's constantly used on Housewives. So I don't know where I come down. I don't even know why I'm making it a big deal. So then I'm going to move on now. So Lisa's like, yeah, you're the victim in our situation. And then Ayan's like, I literally cried to you about it, and you know that's going to hurt me so much. And she's like, yeah, but you do play the victim, and it has nothing to do with your FGM. So drop it.
And Ayan's like, I swear to God, no one on this fucking couch can say that I never loved you, cared about you, fought for you to the death. And Lisa goes, that's not what's in question. You know what? She was the most ride or die for you, Lisa. Okay? She was literally like the opposite of Marissa trying to seat us at Hillstone. Very, very committed to the cause. You were.
She was so ride or die. Like, if you were the extra person on a reservation at Hillstone and they refused to seat your entire party because you were the extra person, you know what she would have said? I'm walking out of this restaurant and Marissa's never going to work in this town again.
She was like the parachute strapped to your waist while you're running in the sand in Dubai.
And so she's like, yeah, she's the most ride or die for you, Lisa. And Lisa goes, and I wasn't. My issues with her, and she points to Stanbury. She's like, my issues with Stanbury are because of you. They stem from you, Ayan. And Stanbury goes, oh, please, you never liked me.
That's not true. And Andy's like, okay, all right. We're going to have a full conversation about this later. And then Talene's like, Aunt Lisa, are you going to cry? You going to cry, Lisa? She goes, I'm not going to cry. Are you? No. And then
Ayan goes, oh, really? Side effect of Ozempic is always crying.
Which, is that a side effect? So
no, it's literally not. I would be sobbing every day because no one loves Ozempic more than me. I'd eat an Ozempic cupcake if they made them.
I think we would.
Actually, I probably would because I wouldn't be hungry.
Ozempic. Oh, actually, that's O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Yeah.
Ozempic. Side effects include crying. I think we all would have heard that.
Blocked butt passages, sobbing. Victimhood. Wait. So she's like, yeah, side effect of Ozempic is always crying. And she's like, yeah, Ozempic that you introduced me to. And she's like, because you asked me, Lisa. And she goes, no, because you were on it. And then Ayan screams.
We're fighting about Ozempic. We're not even in Beverly Hills. So
these people are ridiculous. These housewives, I can't. They're always going on. They're always Ozempic shaming each other. Am I supposed to believe 90% of you are not on Ozempic? Because I do not believe it. You're all fucking on it. Get out of here.
Yeah. So he's like, I want to move on. So Ayan needs some water. And then Brooks is like, well, we can tell Ayan's doing the most. You can sense the fear and the insecurities oozing from that bitch. So, and he's like, okay, Brooks and Stanbury may share a first name, which I don't know what it is because I don't really watch this show. Could someone tell me? It's Stephanie?
Sarah? This is Sarah.
But Talene learned the hard way that they're not amazing at sharing friends. Let's take a look at Caroline versus Caroline. Is this about Caroline Ray versus Caroline in the city?
This is between North and South Carolina. I'm in. I can't wait till I love a good state fight.
So we see the scenes of Stanbury bringing up Talene's vagina showing, and then Brooks being like,
"You came for my friend's vagina. I can't come for my friend's vagina. You better back on. I'm talking right now."
Well, it seems like you were more offended about the vagina line than Talene was, Caroline. Why do you think Brooks received it the way she did? Stanbury's like, well, I don't know. First of all, the only person that talked about it to everybody was Brooks. She is saying that I embarrassed her friend, yet I wasn't the one talking about it. I was talking about her once on the phone, going, oh, Sergio almost saw your vagina. But don't forget, I also said, Sergio's an idiot. How can we kill him?
Almost? You said almost? You almost saw a vagina? Is that what you're saying? That you almost saw a vagina?
And she goes, whatever. Saw a vagina then. She goes, she's like,
oh, yeah? Well,
Sarah goes, yeah, but you told all of us. And she goes,
yeah, and Nina, too. And Stanbury said if there's any indication of how she is, then basically she doesn't belong on the show. And that triggered me. That triggered me for her to say that. Just because she has the vagina, she doesn't belong on the show? How dare you?
She said that? She said that? That's almost as bad as saying you don't belong in Hillstone. I'm a little offended right now. So Brooks is like, yeah, she said that to me, Nina, and Sarah. And Andy's like, I don't know who Nina is. But anyway, your initial reaction to the comment was, what, Talene? Well, I was upset. It was messed up for sure. But since Raph wasn't there, it was okay. Now, if Raph had been there and wasn't allowed to be on the show, then we have a problem.
And what was Nina's opinion about this? Oh yeah, Nina said Caroline Stanbury. She said that. How could she say that? What a fucking fruitcake! A fruitcake! How dare she?
Actually, babe, I think that she was just offering her fruitcake.
What?
My
That's
iconic
business.
fruitcake.
She has fruitcakes.
Nina's just right there. Remember me? My iconic fruitcake business. So Andy's like, okay, Brooks. Well, potatoes from the earth says
potatoes from the earth.
Well, they come from somewhere. Says
talk about a pick me, am I right? So
potatoes.
why would you keep Why would you keep repeating the story about Talene's vagina if you were so offended by it? I feel like you were making a bigger deal about it than it was. And Brooks is like, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to roll back. I'd like to roll back. I don't want to roll back and go to the past. I want to go to the future. I want to make a new chapter. I want to make a new chapter in the future where we have someone in office who is respectful of the office. That's not backwards. It's not behind us. We're not looking behind us. We're looking ahead of us. We're going forward in a book and not behind us in a book.
Brooks,
That's
I
what I'm
think
looking
you
to
switched
do.
channels by accident, or let's get on
No.
the national stage and come back here to Dubai. Is this Dubai? Because I thought it was New York. I really can't tell the difference.
Well, I was angry, Andy. That's the reason. I was vaginally angry, Andy. That doesn't mean my vagina was angry, although it has been angry. I'm not going to say my vagina doesn't have emotions, but at that time, my vagina was not angry. I was just vaginally angry because I was angry about talking about vaginas of my friend. First, they came from my friend's earlobes. I said nothing. Then they came from my friend's wristbands. I said that. And then they came from my friend's vagina. I said, where's your vagina? You don't got a vagina anymore? Why didn't anybody stand up for your earlobes? You understand what I'm saying, Andy?
Well, I'm not really sure what to say to that. So, anyway, I don't even really know what you were talking about now that I really think about it.
Vaginally angry. That's what I was saying.
Angry.
Okay, look, I got a baby caller and talked her through, but you know what? I did actually say in the moment, I remember saying, give Talene a chance. And when she decided I'm going to let this go and forgive Stanbury, it seemed like I kept going. Is that what you're going to say, Andy? Just say it, Andy. Just fucking say it.
Yeah, it seemed like it pissed you off even more. Well, that's not what happened. She didn't actually say, I'm going to let it go. That was after the fact. But we were on Talene's balcony, and Talene's like, oh, the balcony where I was apparently hysterically crying. Raph, can you believe this? I was crying on the balcony, Raph.
Let her talk. Let her talk.
It's her first reunion, Andy, but you're going to have to tell her. I was like, oh, Lisa. Lisa pulls out her readers. She's like,
Talene's like, okay, get off your high horse, Lisa, please. So Andy's like, okay, so here's how a reunion works. You're going to speak first, and then you're going to speak. Okay, so Brooks is like, okay, so on her balcony, when me and Sarah went over there that day, I was like, Stanbury is a fucking bitch. I was so angry. And it's because moments before, Talene was on the floor crying, and me and Sarah had to come over and console it. Do you remember? And Sarah's like, well, no, she wasn't on the floor, but she was crying in a non-spiritually healed sort of way, yes.
Oh, no. She was crouched down. She was hysterical, Andy. She was crouched down hysterical. And Talene's like, hysterical? You know what's hysterical? That's hysterical. No, Andy, she was. She got down. Do you remember? We had to go over there. We had to pick her up. And I was like, oh, my God, your arm fell off. We sewed back on her arm. Then we stood her up. And I said, stand up. Get serious about it.
and then we see footage of her not on the floor crying. We just see her being like, she talked about my vagina. Hold on. Let me grab my sinuses and whisper raw very slowly.
But this does kind of undermine, Talene's kind of like, well, whatever, it's my vagina, no big deal. But here was clearly a scene where she was trying to make something happen. She's like, it really hurts me. It's like, why is everyone talking about my vagina? So I think she was trying at that moment to be like, oh, this will be my storyline. But then later on, she realizes, actually, it'll be better if I just become friends with Stanbury and just betray Brooks.
Right, Brooks is a disaster. I'm switching sides. Yeah, but Brooks every time she saw her, she's like,
So, how do you feel about Caroline Stanbury telling everybody you're a whore and your vagina's every place? How do you feel about that? I was at the post office today, and your picture was up. It was you, and it said former singer wanted. She showed a vagina one time. You're in big trouble in this town, Missy.
So Talene's like, was I on the floor hysterical? And Sarah's like, well, not on the floor, babe. And she's like, I got emotional, and that's all that happened. And she's like, yeah, well, not hysterical, but you were crying and you were hurt. Listen, if you really had an issue with the whole V-Gate thing, when Stanbury said it to you, you weren't fighting that off camera. And Brooks is like, didn't I say it on that call with Nina? Didn't I say something? And Sarah's like, she just sort of doesn't respond. Her just eyes go wide.
And Brooks keeps looking at Sarah. She's like,
Did I say it? Did I say that on the call with you? Hey, Sarah.
and Sarah's just like zoning out, you know? And Talene's like, I'm not talking to Sarah. Stop looking at other people. Talk to me. She's like,
Don't fucking tell me what to do. Do not tell me what the fuck to do. You shut the fuck up.
so they start yelling at each other back and forth. And Brooks is like,
You can put your finger down. Nobody's afraid of you. Nobody's afraid of your finger. All right?
Yeah. And basically, like, they basically get into like a little fight, and then Brooks is like, "Oh, that was a good moment, Talene. Congrats. That was good. That was good." I was like, oh, "Okay, I want to hear from Sarah." Said no audience member ever, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna Sarah say something. So Sarah's like, "Okay, well, you know what? To Stanbury, the comment was rude. Talene, you know, she was hurt, and Brooks, she dragged it on too long. And I love you, but I'm gonna be honest. On the phone, she said, "Don't talk about my friend like that."
and Talene's like, but who kept bringing it up and then bringing it up again? And Sarah's like, she did. Sandy's like,
Okay, so you're saying she held on to it for too long, much like I've let this segment go.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, well, was there a part of you that was like, I went so hard for her and now she's making up with Stanbury and that's why you were annoyed? Or was there a part of you that was like, I brought her onto the show? And Brooks is like, oh, hell yeah. It was like, listen, like, was it that? It was that. Because, like, this is the most disloyal, unloyal, not loyal things that I've ever seen in my life. It was literally the most loyal, unloyal thing, Andy. In my life.
I guess what we've spent 10 minutes trying to get drilled down to is that you felt maybe betrayed by your friend who you brought onto the show. Yeah. And Stanbury's like, well, it wasn't that serious. It was a joke, like my marriage. And he's like, okay, fine. But that's how she took it, and I'm just understanding where she came from.
Okay, well, Sarah.
oh, Lisa's like, I agree with Brooks. It's like, okay. So then Andy's like,
Sarah Stassi on Facebook says, oh, guess what? I've been uncanceled. Woo! Basic bitch summer. I was surprised to hear the words vagina and cup fitness being thrown around so lightly in Dubai. What was your reaction? Are you afraid to send these people to prison? Are you going to send these people to prison after you sent your maid to prison for having a Miller Lite in your bedroom? Yes or no?
Also, she adds, it's my fucking birthday. So, okay, great.
And Sarah's like, it was too much, Andy. It was just too much. I mean, it was 3 or 4 episodes of Talene's VJJ, and that became the rising star of the show. You know what I mean? I mean, if that wanted to have women empowerment seminars, it probably could charge about $10,000 a head, in which case I would be business partners with the VJJ.
And by the way, do you see me saying it in any other scenes? The only vagina that gets mentioned is Sergio. So Andy's like, no, Brooks, I want to get into your state of mind. Okay, for the first half of the season, you would open a business 6 months earlier. Yeah. And you were working night and day at the business. Yeah. And you're raising your boy alone. Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you your excuses ahead of time.
Basically, you're supposed to take all this, regurgitate it into a monologue so we have some things to edit together in what's called a television show.
See, what's supposed to happen is that you're supposed to say these things and explain why you were drunk and why you got into a fight with your best friend. See, you're supposed to say, I was so stressed, and it was just that in that moment, I needed you to be there for me, and instead I felt like you left me for Caroline Stanbury. So you want to take that from the top.
And it's basically like, so do you think the way that you were taking in alcohol was not beneficial to you? It's basically like, so were you a drunk or not? And she's like,
okay. So that's what we're getting to. Okay. Well, obviously, no, I'm not proud of the way I behaved while I was drinking. All right. I need to gauge how much alcohol that I actually consume. Okay. Well, how do you think the other women saying you're drinking was partly to blame for your behavior? She goes, well, listen, I think that they said I was alcoholic, which is actually ridiculous, Andy. That is actually ridiculous.
I mean, look, you can't even do 12 steps in Dubai. It's so hot out. The most you can do is 4. So
no one makes it through 12 without falling over from eating exhaustion. That's funny.
So then Lisa's like, actually, she's actually lightweight, like 1 drink, and she just starts slurring. And Ayan's like, yeah, I guess you can have 4 drinks and you're lightweight. Is that what it is? And he's like, okay, well, Talene, you've been friends with her for 10 years. Do you think it's unfair to call her a drunk? Okay, you know what? I do not think that Caroline is an alcoholic. You know who's an alcoholic? Marissa from Hillstone, because you gotta be drunk to reject me and Roth.
Listen,
We both love to have a good time. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I said that you're an alcoholic, Brooks. Okay? Do I think that you can be messy? I do. Do I think that you're an alcoholic? I don't. Are my earrings hitting me on the cheeks because I'm shaking my head so hard for no reason? They are.
You know what, Brooks? You can mess up your life and drink and drive badly and also push away all of your friends without even the use of alcohol. So no, you're not an alcoholic.
And so it's like, I even told her, don't drink because once you drink, you don't look good on camera. And she's like,
Yeah, Sarah said one drink's okay for you. One, but once we pass on one, then that's not good. We don't like it. And Andy goes, apparently the producers told you that too. She goes, oh yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
It's like,
I know. I was like, well, I guess Bravo's regulating. But yeah, you're right. Maybe they are doing that for Bethany. Or maybe they're doing it because they're in Dubai and it's like,
yeah, there's
they don't
that
want
too.
to get shut down.
Don't want to be all in jail.
But I took it how you did too, that it's probably like,
well, yeah, we don't want people drinking too much. Am I right?
wink.
Well, Lisa, you told me on Watch What Happens Live that Brooks needs to dial it down. What did you mean by that? Well, I was commenting on the whole thing with Celine, like the see you next Tuesday, the hoes, all that thing. Like, it was just a little bit too much. Okay, well, that's good to know. Well, here's one tied from
Four from...
What?
Go ahead. Sorry, I was going to help you out there.
No, mine running dry over here. You talking about your caller.
Okay, sure. 4 from Skin says, I love Sarah, but Brooks's behavior doesn't get a pass just because she was stressed. Now, what do you say to that? And as a non-drinker, is it ever hard for you to be around the ladies when they're drinking heavily, Sarah?
It's like, no, you know what? It's hard for me to be around them when they drink heavily, yes. And every time Brooks does anything, everyone calls me, They're like, have you seen Brooks's behavior? You know what? I'm not Brooks's mom. I'm not her mom. But that's it.
But if I were her mom, I would say, Brooks, watch out. There's like men in a van outside and they want to abduct you. Don't have nightmares tonight, by the way.
So now we hear about Brooks's healing journey. And he's like, did you have more than one session? And Sarah answers, no. And Stanbury goes, actually, she tried to sue the healer, Andy.
I never sued a healer. And she's like, no, but you asked for your money back. It's like, only Brooks would sue a healer. Okay, Ralph, did you hear that, Ralph? Ralph, she's a healer, Ralph.
This is literally hilarious. It's like,
Okay, but she didn't sue a healer? And Brooks is like, asking for a refund is not a lawsuit. I said, I want to refund you fucking phony, or I'm gonna fucking take you to court and take all of your goddamn money. Do you understand? Do you see that in your future, you fucking lying ass psychic bitch?
They said that was the first time they'd been asked for a refund in 30, 20 years, something like that. I mean, do you know how many facelifts it's been since they've had to issue a refund?
And Brooke said that she wanted a refund because she didn't go back after one session. Girl, you spent your whole season saying you were spiritually healed. Spiritually healed people do not expect refunds for something that they just flaked out on.
Yeah, exactly. So, and he was like, oh, okay.
You know who else doesn't do that? Like trillionaires or whatever she's pretending she is on this show. People who are like, oh, yeah, I just flew private here for fun. Yeah, but you couldn't pay your healer her $100. Come on.
Well, Marsh from Mallow says, you recently claimed, Brooks, that Caroline's friend Michael is her sugar daddy and allegedly pays for her mortgage bills and clothing and everything. How do you know this? And she goes, well, okay, so Stanbury's group of friends, we're all at Atlantis and with the Royal, and we're Ayan, and Michael was getting wasted. He's a real alcoholic, if you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, Ayan called me, and she was like, Michael's drunk ass literally just said that he pays all of Stanbury's bill, and he's sick as Sergio, but don't say anything. She actually didn't, even mention anything to me, but he repeated it again, so that's how I found out about it.
And Lisa's like, oh, I remember back in the day, too, you ran into him at the main, and he also said that to you then. And they're like, yeah, well, he wasn't happy that Sergio was stuck in the house, and you guys were fighting, and they're, kind of all discussing this. And Ayan's like, yeah, and then he told me, you know what? I need them to leave because I'm tired of paying for the house, the maid, and the food, and the stuff like that. That's what he said. He cannot afford to pay his life. Dubai is expensive. And Stanbury's like, nobody pays my life except my parents. And they owe it to me, frankly.
My parents, let's be honest, some of those nannies in the brown uniforms. So
Listen, the way that Michael said it to me, he said he made a poor joke about paying my maid and my bills because I overstayed my welcome, just like the people that they're bringing in. These people, they're everywhere. There's nothing to do with them. They've completely changed Springfield. There was a pipeline here. Now there's no pipeline there. And now there's a Keystone taking things from Russia to Germany. Can you believe it?
I think you've switched to the debate again.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Andy.
The point is that
God,
people
my
shouldn't
ovaries literally just shriveled up and dropped out of me during that.
people should not overstay their welcome. Like those 2 or 3 sort of smaller type of people in my kitchen. Aren't those your kids? Oh, yes. They should be.
I've just gathered up my ovaries and put them in my purse, Andy. I'm sorry, I'm very dried up and over everything.
I think those were Werther's originals, actually.
Whatever.
I don't care. They need to get to work. So, Brooks is like,
What even is this?
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm not high. Okay, so she talks about how she has multiple businesses. I do so many things. I just don't bring my businesses onto the show. I'm sorry. Can we get a follow-up here? Which is, what the fuck is your business? And why is it a secret? I need to know your business, please. So Andy's like,
And did you get a big settlement from your ex?
and she goes, of course I got money. To look stupid to you.
Yes, of course. I mean, look at me. I'm not like Brooks, where the only thing I get out of my divorce is someone to fix a toilet by jamming it into the ground. I got money, lots and lots of money. So Andy's like, well, you responded to Brooks's claim saying that Brooks was talking about herself. Who's paying her bills? Well, I do believe that Brooks works really hard at having other people pay her bills. But, like, at the same time, she's a single woman with men.
And Brooks is like, not bad. You know who my ex is. You know how long we were together. So don't say men. Don't say men like that. Well, Celine, you mentioned on Watch What Happens Live that Brooks dates a lot of wealthy men.
And so we see that. And you later apologize online, and then we see a tweet, and it says, so, ... Is that even ellipses, or are they just 3 periods put together? I'm serious. Listen, I made inappropriate jokes about at Caroline Dubai last night on Watch What Happens, and this was generally meant in good fun. I mean, calling people whore is usually just a sweet thing that we do in our neighborhood. You know what I mean? So I don't know why anybody's so upset about it. And if it went too far, I sincerely apologize. Here's to a great season. And for the record, sarcasm is my love language. It's my love. Also, you know what's my love language? Giving me a table when I come to your restaurant.
You know what? Sarcasm is my love language, but unfortunately I said that sarcastically, which means it's actually not my love language. I don't appreciate it. So Andy's like, well, what do you mean why did you feel the need to apologize? Well, that was a poor choice of words to say that you sleep with wealthy men. You don't. You sleep with poor men too. So do you guys, but do guys do give you cash and buy you stuff? She's, well, yeah. Well, I mean, why wouldn't my boyfriend give me cash and buy me stuff? Okay, toilets just don't grow on trees.
How dare you suggest that I take money from men that I sleep with? I take money from men that I sleep with. What's wrong with that?
I take money from men I'm in committed sleeping relationships with.
And then she says, and Tony goes, but in Bali, you were talking about Shrek, saying this is like your sugar daddy. She goes, I never slept with that guy. We see unseen footage of them in a van. And Brooks is on FaceTime with Talene calling, or she's on FaceTime with someone. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm talking to this guy. And then she's saying, oh, yeah, this guy talks about how he makes 6 figures a month and he flies me private and he gets me a nice bag every 2 weeks. And then Andy goes, wait, you were with someone that you referred to as Shrek? And she goes, he was just so ugly, Andy. He was so ugly. I was never with him. So does that make it worse? I mean, you're just calling a guy ugly and then taking his money. Does this make you a better person? I'm not understanding what the argument is here, because this almost makes you sound more horrible. At least in the other situation, you were being nice to the guy. This is just being a dick to a guy on national TV and taking his money.
You know what? It's not okay for you guys to say that she sleeps around with different men. Okay, what you really should have said is she sleeps around with a lot of different men. Okay, don't undersell it.
I just love the whole, how dare you? I am totally just flirting with ugly guys for their money.
Yeah.
How dare you? So then, Andy says, did he buy you stuff? And she says, nothing.
And so
But you just said in that clip that he was flying you private and getting you a nice bag every 2 weeks, but whatever.
So
It's
Sarah goes,
Brooks,
you know what? I don't like bullshit. Because look at me. I'm Sarah. I'm someone who's so not about bullshit. I can't wait to talk about my very real relationship with Akin. Anyway, honestly, Lisa, you did say that about her too. And Lisa goes, what? And Ayan's like, yes, you always say that. You're sitting there acting like you never said that. She goes, when did I say that? She says things like that all the time. The horrible things that they both have said about each other. It's like, Ralph. I mean, this is absolutely wild.
Because it is pretty funny that Brooks and Lisa, of all people, are now like besties.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous. And they just have nobody left, you know? And so Brooks is like,
Mind your business.
and she's like, Lisa, I feel sorry for you, Lisa, for what you're about to go through with her. I feel bad for you. I'm serious. And Andy's like,
Lisa, have you been saying the same stuff that you're accusing others of saying?
she's like, listen, I've heard things and I brought them up, but I would never bring it to this platform and do that to embarrass her. Andy, I called people whores in private.
Well, Lisa, unfortunately, that's not going to get you another season. We are going to need you to bring it to this platform and embarrass him. That's kind of the name of the game. Okay, I'm going to move forward. This year, a new housewife named Talene, that's me, Ralph, emerged in the desert. And while she and her pal Brooke started off thick as thieves, accusations of begging, borrowing, and one Caroline stealing her from the other led to quite the sandstorm between besties. Oh my God, I'm exhausted.
Yeah. So basically, they're like, wow, you're so seasoned, Talene. How does it feel to be here? She's like, I had no idea what I was walking into. I just wanted to be myself. And I've just been so grateful for all the fans and all the responses that I've got. I just really, really appreciate it. A booth would be great.
Brooks, did you prepare Talene before she started? No, not really much preparation because Talene knows I never watch The Housewives. Like, oh yeah,
right.
Sure. As your Twitter name is Caroline Dubai, really leaning into like, hey guys, I'm on The Real Housewives. Talene's like, you walked into my house and said you got to watch Beverly Hills. You are a fanatic.
She tried to get me. She tried to even get me through one episode. It's just not for me. I'm just not into the house.
Oh God, she's so full of shit.
I know,
and I love it. Why do I? It usually infuriates me when people lie to this degree. But
because
I
it's
think
such low
it's
stakes. Yeah,
she's
it's not
so
worth
funny.
getting mad over.
Yeah, I just think she's so funny. And she's got like such a charm about her. So Andy's like, so did she prepare you, Brooks? And Talene's like, she wanted me to come in. And Stanbury's like, and take me down. Say it. She goes, and take me down. Yeah, and say the thing about how she was using you to get to me. She was using me. Wait a minute. You're doing the same thing to me right now. I'm richer than her.
Okay, I'll allow it. She was trying, listen, she wanted me to come in and hate everybody. She wanted me to hate you and you and you and you and you. Me? Yeah, you. There's a lot to unpack there, Andy.
Why are you pointing at the makeup lady? I'm running out of people that I'm supposed to hate. Okay, basically.
And Andy's like,
Okay, well, Peanut from Butter said you called Talene a Hadida bird, Ayan. What's up with that? She goes,
yes. Hey, remember everybody when I called her Hadida bird? Hilarious.
yeah, I just asked that. Okay, well, that led to a great segment. Let's move on.
So has she grown on you since then? Well, I actually told her today to be Hadida. So Talene, Brooks called you after the Queen's dinner to say that Stanbury was talking crap about you. What made you decide to fact check Brooks and call Stanbury?
And she's basically like, oh my God, this is a pattern. It just kept happening. I get these calls from Brooks and I'm like, you know what? Let me just get everybody on the phone and talk it out. And Brooks is like,
I actually defended her at that table, and those two walked away to talk. I mean, about a vagina privately. You're going to have a private vaginal conversation when I've already initiated a public vaginal conversation. We were talking about vaginas on group text, and now you're going to talk about vaginas privately on a sun chair? That's just not how it works where I come from, Ellie.
Yeah, but then Brooks, what you relate to me is, don't you get it, Tal? She doesn't like you, Tal. And she's like, no, that's not what I said. It was nice of her to want to have that conversation alone without the pause.
And Brooks is like, but she said that if anybody talked about her during filming to tell her. And Tony's like, I never said that, but okay. So the next question is that Melissa, Brooks.
From Eaten by an illegal alien says, you started the season calling Talene one of your closest friends in Dubai, but the minute she challenged you, you lost it on her and said you were done. Did you expect her to just blindly follow you? That's a big question. Let me add.
And Brooks is like, no, not blindly follow me, but there's some basis of loyalty there. You know what I mean? All right, well, Sarah, Michael from Fox said that you defended Brooks in the desert after her fallout with Talene. When you watch back that dinner argument, is it what you expected to see?
And Sarah's like, in the desert, I was telling Brooks to apologize to Talene. Yeah, because I was clearly coming from a good place telling you that, and I wanted to move forward, and you said there is no moving forward.
Yeah, but we saw Talene and Brooks finally make up at the Ion Beauty event, only to hear that Brooks wasn't apologizing for how she treated Talene, but rather calling her a beggar. Yeah, well, apparently 105 times you said on Entertainment Tonight, I said, please, 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 can I be on your show? That's what you said. And furthermore, you then start going, da-da-da-da-na-na-na-na-na-na, until they kicked you off the soundstage.
And so she's like, Andy, did I beg to be on the show? He's like,
well, if you were a friend, it also helped you that she was going to bring you onto the show. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to. She goes,
okay, so she put our names forward. But, I was also hesitant. I was also very hesitant to stay on the show. You know what I mean? I said, am I ready to be on the show? My vagina was. My vagina was on camera before I was. My vagina has its own testing. Wait, why am I talking about damn it, Brooks, you've tricked me into this.
Listen. I was like, should I be on the show? Will being on the show make it easier for me to get a reservation at Hailstone in Kirby? Apparently not.
But for you to go to press and say, I begged you 105 times. I don't beg friends for shit. She knows that.
Are you smoking a cigarette in here?
Yeah, what the fuck? You want a piece of me, Andy? Shut the fuck up.
Well, Mom Talk, Can It Survive This, says, isn't the point of bringing someone into your friend group so that she integrates with your other friends? Like, did you just expect Talene to be your mouthpiece? Oh, this is a big question right here. This is good. This is a good one, yeah.
And Brooks is just like, no, I don't want her to speak for me. And Ayan goes, yeah, that was set of the season. And she goes, and Sarah's like, oh, you bitch.
You'll be arrested. So Brooks is like, if a person's coming on to a show as a friend of mine, I would expect for them to be kind of have my back. That's fair. That's fair. Well, you know what, though? I have texts of Brooks saying, oh my God, Stanbury just put 3 people forward. We need to get you on the show. So there was a motive there.
Oh gosh, and they kind of keep going on circles around this. And Andy's like, Talene Tree from Zepatide on Twitter says Talene used Brooks to get on the show and then flipped on her. I mean, they just keep going on and on with this thing.
Yeah,
it's so stupid. Brooks was trying to start a fight with Stanbury. It was a stupid vagina fight. It went nowhere. Let's not make the next 5 years of our lives about this, please.
Yeah, this went on a very long time. So then Andy starts asking Brooks about Stanbury's housewarming, which is where the big fight was, and how she showed up with Sage and brought a guest who was like not even invited, and people were like not happy about that. And someone on Twitter was like, I would have kicked out Brooks the moment I saw Sage in her hand. Like, what were you thinking, Caroline? Or what were you thinking, Caroline?
Yeah,
Caroline.
And someone on Twitter is like, why does Brooks think that she's the one due an apology? Delulu, she came in with an agenda to start the fight. And Brooks is like, I don't care. There's my answer.
Yeah. Okay, well, do you own the fact that you came in kind of rearing to go? And Stanbury's like, yes, you were at 100. And her guns were blazed, yes. So they're acting like this is the first time this has ever happened on a Real Housewives show. Like, I can't believe you showed up at a party ready to go after someone.
Yeah. So then it turns into the fight with Rolf. Dun, dun, dun. And Tolene's like, yeah, my husband was actually trying to de-escalate, And Stanbury's like, yes, she'd been poked quite a lot through the dinner and she did walk away. Now, That said, I don't know how you expect your vagina to be out half the time and not expect to get poked. Do you know what I mean? And Brooks is like, I wasn't even talking to her. And Talene's like, oh, really? You weren't talking to me? You were talking to the air? Were you talking to the air? That was in my audition tape. I'm glad I finally got to use that one. What, were you talking to the air?
You know
So
what?
good. Put it on a coffee mug, Andy.
I was being poked. Okay. Should I have said that about your husband not being there? Or where is your husband? No. And for that, I do take accountability. I am sorry for highlighting that you have no husband and that there's no one in your life right now and that you are a lonely person and that I am in a good relationship with Ralph while you are in a sad relationship with a man who comes in to fix your toilet. I never should have mentioned that you have no husband whatsoever. I should take full accountability for highlighting that to America, that you are lonely.
Yeah, and Stanbury's like, well, I mean, I think Rafi had listened to it. And to be honest, I can't believe he only got involved at the end. I mean, Brooks, you have a longer standing relationship with Ralph than you do Talene. You call Rafi, you invited Rafi to your birthday party without Talene. You have that relationship with him, so he has every right to have that relationship and the clapback with you. I'm like, ooh, look, I get that we're on each other's sides. No man should be yelling at a woman anywhere, really. Like, not in private either, but like, that was gross. Ruff was gross for that one.
So Andy goes, oh, that's interesting. So Lisa's like, so he has every right to have shouted at her? She says, no, he didn't shout at her. Talene's like, he walked away. And Lisa's like, no, he did not walk away. He said, I'm not doing this. And we see a flashback of Ralph, that whole
He did
moment.
both.
Yeah, and so
He did both of those things. He yelled at her and then he walked away.
So
So
Talene,
they're both right.
So Talene is like, she's like, Lisa, you even admitted to me that you didn't really see what was going on. And Lisa's like, well, I didn't see how it started, but I did see. She goes, well, you were looking for a moment and you inserted yourself, just like Marissa at Hillstone.
Oh gosh, so they keep going on, and then Andy's like, I understand the male-female dynamic about this fight, but if you were old buddies, I mean, doesn't that take some steam out of it? And she's like, no. And Talene's like, what? Excuse me, are you serious right now? We're literally not even in the right city right now. And Brooks is like, have I ever argued with Roth like that? And Talene goes, excuse me, after my party off camera, you didn't argue with Roth? Are you kidding? Were there cameras or weren't cameras? Are we confirmed? Are you kidding me?
That wasn't with Rafi. That was with you. That was with you and Rafi. You were spitting in his face and there were people there. She said, I didn't spit on his face. After the see you next Tuesday thing, this woman's a liar. You should start working at Hillstone and try to book reservations there because you'd fit in perfectly.
They just start calling each other liars over and over again. And Andy's just like,
you know what? I have to say, I'm the best at Russia. I do the best Russia. Even Russia themselves says, you're a great Russia, And I'm just here to stand up for fertilization. So we'll see you next time.
And that is it for part 1 of the Dubai reunion. We'll be back next week for part 2, and we'll see how it goes. But fun times. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Don't forget to check out those archives on our website, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.
bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know Your Worth with Jason Kurth.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
She's a total knockout. It's Katie Manock. Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
Let's get feely with Maggie Sheely.
Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
Cast a Spell with Shannon Spellman. The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish, it's Jen Plish.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Give him hell, Miss Noel. Ring that bell for Rachel.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke.
Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Couture. We love you guys.